Hello again, everyone out there. This is Hyperion again, and I'm in No Man's Sky still, and we're continuing my series about suggestions that could potentially later improve No Man's Sky. And this one is one that I'm very passionate about. In fact, I've mentioned it many times in my previous videos, but I've never put full focus on it. And that is basically the mechanic of salvaging ships and the potential to sell ships. Now, as the game first came out, you could salvage ships, and this got me excited, and we're going to start with right here how you actually do that. Now, you can just come across them anywhere on a planet you want, but what you do here is you find one of these. This is a tower, a transmission tower. You come in here, and you solve a little riddle. And the riddle is actually, it's interesting to note that these are actually IQ test questions. So you got to figure them out based on math from IQ tests. I know because I've taken a bunch of them. I apparently have an IQ of 145 according to them, but I don't know how accurate that is. But anyways, so here we got, it's 1 to 2's, so 1 times, let's see, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 4 is 24, 24 times 5 is 120, so yeah, so then it would be 720. So there you go, that's how you solve it. It's a IQ test riddle. It's one of the simpler ones. Believe me, the IQ tests get really a lot harder than that. But if you have never taken one, go see if you can find one online. Take a couple of them because they're not always accurate. I took actually some official ones, but they're pretty much the same. They just time you and analyze your answers differently. But anyways, so that just told us the location of, actually, I think, now in the, oh, it did tell me a crashed ship. So now in the new game, since the Atlas Rises update, it can also tell you a crashed freighter, but this one told me the location of a crashed ship, which is good, because this is what I wanted to talk about. So, let's fly over to that guy. So, we're coming upon the crashed ship now, as you can see. We're going to go ahead and fly out of the atmosphere here to speed up a little bit, but what originally happened in the game, in the original vanilla game, every time you came across a salvageable crashed ship, it had a mechanic that detected how many slots you had on your current ship and offered you either one with 2 slots better or 2 slots worse. Now, this became an interesting mechanic that was very easily exploited. And what happened was people realized real quick that since every time you came across a crashed ship, you could just keep doing that over and over and over again until you had a maxed out ship. And you could do this immediately at the start of the game. You could actually do it because crashed ships were almost a little bit infinite on planetary surfaces, and you used to be able to scan for transmission towers. You can't anymore. But people were utilizing this exploit to get 48 slot ships, which at the time was the best kind of ship you could have, and you could have it in any style. So you could also find a style you liked of ship and just keep searching for salvageable ships over and over and over again until you found the one you want in the slots that you wanted. And as long as you kept grabbing the ship every time you came across a salvaged ship, you took it, then the next one you got had a 50% chance. Actually, it was higher than that. More often than not, it was better than your current ship. Sometimes it would be 1 slot or 2 slots worse, but that didn't happen enough to make the attempt at this discouraging. And it could take a long time to find enough ships till you finally found the one you wanted, but it was definitely doable. In fact, that is actually how I got my 48 slot ship, the Milano, which has now been replaced, because what they did is, to counterbalance that, they added the mechanic of classes to ships. So even though I had a 48 slot ship, this wasn't the best. This is obviously as an S-class. This isn't the ship I'm talking about. But at the time, it wasn't the best ship. So, you know, it encouraged me to throw it away and get a better one. But luckily, I found the exact same ship in a perfect class. So Well, not this one again. It was a different one, but I found it in a much better class with 48 slots again, so I was okay. But they also decided to change the mechanics of the salvaging ships, because when you talk to them, again, as I said, the ships would always be a slot better. Then they changed it so that certain ships like shuttles could max out at only 28 slots. So no matter what, you can only find a shuttle, and this is a shuttle, at 28 slots. And fighters and explorers maxed out at 38 slots, so you could never find one better than 38. And haulers were the only thing you can find in 48 slots. They also made it more randomly generated as to what you find here. Whether it's better or worse than your ship was completely left up to chance at this point. The other mechanic they added, and this is where a lot of people complained, was they now made it so that some of the slots are broken. And the way that you repair those slots is by paying units. And by paying units, every time you purchased a slot, it went up exponentially to buy the next slot. So say this one was only 1,000, this one could very easily be 5,000, this one could very easily be 20,000, this one could be 100,000, and by the time you're done, you could have spent several $1,000,000 or units repairing your ship. This made this whole system completely antiquated. It was not worth it anymore. You couldn't get a better ship. So even though you can get the ship for free, you couldn't get a better ship than the one you had easily. It was merely by chance, and it was such a low percentage chance that you would find a better ship that it wasn't even worth doing. But even if you went into when they added the system where you could have multiple ships and you wanted to add a ship to your inventory, now you have to spend almost the exact same amount of money to repair it as it would cost to just buy it outright. So again, this mechanic became basically obsolete. There was no point in salvaging this ship because I was going to spend the same amount of money buying the exact same ship on a space station or a trading platform. So this really ruined this mechanic, and now I stumble across ships and it's only really worth it for maybe this, which is going to give me a recipe I already have. I know it. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to say I'm going to boost the black box signal because the other one will give me a ship upgrade, which I definitely know I already have. And we're going to see what this... It told me how to make carite sheets. Everyone in this game knows how to make carite sheets. This is a waste of my time, and it was not worth doing. And again, this goes back to many other videos that talks about that the blueprint delivery system in this game is extremely broken because all it does is keeps giving me the same blueprints I already have when there's already several dozen recipes I do not have and I cannot find. So this whole system here... Oh, and the other thing is I can always get nanites from it as well, but again, I'm good. I don't need any more nanites. So this is all the ways that the salvaging of ships has become redundant and pointless and doesn't even belong in the game anymore. I mean, it belongs in the game because it adds a dynamic to the game. It adds another element of gameplay which could be expanded upon, and that is what I want to talk about. Now, we're going to leave this, and I'm going to go ahead and mark it here. No guarantees that that the marking stays because things happen. But we're going to go fly to the space station. So, bear with me here. So we've landed on the space station here, and I have my S-Class hauler here, which is a 48-slot S-Class. So that is to say, it is very expensive. I was able to buy it. Hey, I was saying in another video, I really like this ship, so this is convenient. This is a very pretty ship here. Let's see what it is. So I make an offer on the Lifeform Starship, and it's only a C-Class, and that's fine. I'm not intending to buy it anyways. and it only has 34 slots, so it's not as good as my ship. But let's compare anyways, and see. So as you can see, my ship is 88 million, which is quite interesting because I have an A class with 48 slots that's over 100 million, so that's a weird number. But anyways, it's worth 88 million. And the new starship, that if I wanted to buy it, is worth 16 million. Now, there's a lot of reasons to want to buy a starship beyond better slots. Maybe you just like the look of it, and even though it has less slots, you can make that work for what you needed it for, but you really want that looking ship. And sometimes you can even get up to an A class and it still not be a 48 slot ship, but once you get up to an S class, it's not going to be necessarily a good value or a good even trade. But what I wanted to talk about is that this ship is clearly a downgrade to my ship and is worth a lot less money and is not as good of a ship. So by transferring or trading for it, I get nothing. I get an even trade. I throw away, I don't even want to math right now, I throw away a lot of money. This is money I could use to get an even better ship. Maybe I find one that is 120 million units and it's 48 slots and an S class, but it's a much cooler design. Then I have to spend money to make up the difference. But in this case, this man is not giving me money for a much better ship. Now granted, he doesn't take the ship because we all know that you can take your ship right back, and that's actually part of an exploit you can use to get ships for free. You can sell I could use this ship to buy this ship, call my freighter, go get a different ship that's not worth 16 million, that's only worth 2 million, fly back here. My ship right here will still be sitting here. It'll still have everything in it, all the upgrades, everything will be exactly as is, and I can do a free trade for it and get rid of the cheaper ship. So I can get this ship for free. So this is a system that really doesn't work and would benefit greatly if they in fact gave you money for the difference. And then that goes back to salvaging ships, where you could make money doing that. Now, when the game came out, they told you that there was many ways to get to the center of the galaxy to upgrade your ship, and they said stuff such as being a vigilante by saving freighters. Now, I've never found that as being too economical, but it is fun and it does help you in some ways. The other thing they said is being a pirate, and I recently covered in another video that that is in no way advantageous to you whatsoever. So yeah, so again, much like being a pirate, the salvaging ships isn't advantageous to you at all, but very easily could be if you could gain a profit by salvaging ships. And I think this would make a very interesting dynamic where you could in fact say, let's go repair that ship down below. We don't know how much money it was worth, but let's say, for example, it was worth 20 million units, and let's talk to this freighter or this hauler right here. Now this might be more expensive, but we'll use it as an example regardless. So let's do a compare, and this is an A class, so it's going to be much more expensive, but it's still only 17 million units. And it's not that great of a ship, but, well, it's actually a pretty good ship, I'm sorry, but it's an ugly ship. I don't like it. It's stupid and ugly, and it has that crooked neck thing that I hate. But so, maybe you like it, but I don't like it. It also has these wings that I always laugh about because it looks like it's a tough guy, like, what, you want a piece of this? You want a piece of this? Come at me, bro. But so I wouldn't want to buy this ship. But let's say for the example, I went and salvaged that ship down below, and it was worth 20 million units. I could trade it for this ship right here and make 3 million units off of it. And that could be another element to gameplay. And then I would take this ship and use it to find another salvageable vehicle that's maybe a better quality, or we could be going after something a little bit less exciting, like this shuttle over here. Let's go see if it doesn't fly away. Let's go see how much this is worth. So this one is it's actually not that bad. So we're gonna see here. Okay, so this one's only worth 2 million units. So that's a big profit if that other ship was worth 20 million units, which it probably wasn't because it was a shuttle, so it's probably literally the exact same price as this, but we're just making stuff up for example. So say, for instance, it was a much better deal of a ship, then I would be making a lot of profit off of this. Then, being that I didn't actually really want this ship, I could use this ship to find another salvage. And then I could spend time salvaging and repairing that ship, and then make a profit off of it. And how that would be beneficial is if A, I got units back for buying a ship that was of lesser quality to the one I currently own, and B, the salvage ship didn't cost so much money to repair. It should be advantageous to you to repair the ship. It should be a deal. You should get profit off of it. But I've done the math several times, and every time I've done the math, I've found that it is less, it is almost the exact same amount of money spent repairing the slots as the ship is worth in trade value. Sometimes I even did the math and it seemed like it was actually more expensive to repair the ship than it was to trade it in. And as I said here, I didn't seem like this value was correct, and I swear this ship was more expensive at one time. So I think these numbers changed based on the solar system you're in and everything, which is another mechanic that could go into this whole dynamic of trading and selling ships. And I just said right there something that I was the next part of this whole thing, the ability to just outright sell ships. There could be a system to just straight up sell the ship. They've added a system where you can buy a ship on your freighter without trading out, but you max out at 6 ships. And my freighter is right over here, so we're going to park on there and take a look at my little collection of ships here and show you that once you max out at 6 ships, one of the things that happens is your freighter now locks out 3 of the parking slots in your freighter. And what happens there is no more will ships land in your freighter once you have 6 ships. There's, as you can see, there's 1, 2, and there should be one more over here. Maybe it's right here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 slots that are going to go unused from this point forward. They will never land. You'll see the ships circling around your freighter, but they will never land because you have maxed out the purchase potential of your freighter, which, to be honest, doesn't make a lot of sense, because regardless 3 of the slots on your freighter are no longer being used. Why can't you buy 3 more ships? Or why can't you just go ahead and let guys keep landing there so that you can trade with them and not be able to buy their ship any longer? So, and this is actually would be really advantageous if you were only locked out to just go ahead and trade ships, because all your ships are right here and you could decide which one you want to trade. So this is a system that could use a little work, but I would like to see a system, and I am not 100% sure how you would implement it, but an ability to just straight up sell your ships without trading even. Open these slots back up. Say, for whatever reason, you have tons of money and you don't want to deal with the whole trading and upgrading thing for whatever reason. You just want rid of this ship. I'm actually currently in the process of trying to get rid of this one because as much as I like it, it's far too similar to the ship I was just flying and my favorite ship, the Milano, which you can see over there and has the exact same wing style. But I noticed over here a little bit of a OCD complaint, and that is that the wing actually goes through the engine. That started to bug me to the point where I decided that I'm okay getting rid of this ship. I've worked on it, I've used it a lot, but I'm not really attached to it enough to keep it forever. I have my S-Class exotic ship right here, which I will keep until I find one better. I would like to find the Tentacle S-Class ship, and that's what I intend to trade this for. But again, I'm probably going to use that exploit that I explained earlier, and I will use my S-Class over there to trade, ensuring I get the ship for free, then fly up to my freighter, grab this ship, and swap it back out for that one. But it would be less exploitive if you could simply have a mechanic and become a salvager of ships in the game. I would have a blast with that. I would become like a space mechanic, just finding junker ships, repairing them, building them up, and I think it would be also beneficial if the upgrades that you put in your ship added to the value of the ship. It already has numbers right here stating that you've improved the quality of the ship by your upgrades. Why can't it improve the value? So you could really build some awesome ships and then sell them for a massive profit. And that could become a fun mechanic to the game. Now, I'm not sure how you would do that, if you could do it in a space station, or if you could do it straight from your freighter, or if they just add a new building type to land on to buy and sell and trade ships. But that could be something that they could implement. But they don't need to go that far, as long as all they implement into the game is merely the process of gaining units for trading your ship for a lesser value ship. That's enough right there. That's enough to go ahead and already start using this mechanic to trade and buy and sell ships for profit and become a ship trader. And that become your job in the solar system. And it could be quite fun. And the only two things they need to fix for that, again, are the gain units for trading ships. And there's an advantageous thing to that too, where sometimes maybe you need the units because you need to buy a freighter or a better freighter, and they're quite expensive. So maybe a couple million units by trading in one of your good ships might be worth it at that time. So this is a mechanic that could really benefit the game if they made it so that you gained units for trading in a ship for a lesser value, and more importantly, made it less expensive to salvage ships. Now, in a recent patch, they said they fixed that, but I did some testing, and I did not find it to be of an economic value to me to repair a ship. I repaired a hauler, and I ended up losing 20 million units repairing it. The ship itself was barely worth that much. It was worth about 28 million, and I think the first time I tried to trade and get rid of it before I even repaired anything, it was only coming up as worth 8 million. And I forgot to mention that, yes, the value changes of your ship as you repair the slots in the ship. So if you find a salvaged ship, it's only worth so much money, but once you repair the slots, it increases in value. However, that value it increases is money you have already put into the ship. So again, not advantageous. So this is a mechanic that could very easily be implemented into the game. It's already there. They've just got to fix two very simple mechanics. And of course, on top of that, it would be very nice if you could simply sell ships. And I'm not sure how you could do that, but it would be nice to do. And one more mechanic, I was going to do a whole video on this, but I don't feel like it's big enough to do a whole video on. But I'm going to throw it in there because it could be advantageous to this idea as well. And that is, and I'm going to have to be on a surface to show you this, so bear with me here. So here we are on the planet, and this is where I'll use an example to show you that there could be another mechanic added that would also play a big part in this, and especially when it comes to salvaging ships. And the reason why is sometimes you come across a salvaged ship, but you're in a ship you don't want to get rid of. So you have to go through this process of marking your location or placing a beacon so that you can return to the spot of the crashed ship with the ship you actually want to trade. But what would be really useful is if in the new mechanic where you can now call your ship anywhere, you could also switch which ship you want to call. So you would say probably call your freighter here, which has your other 5 ships, and be able to cycle through here which ship you actually want delivered, and then you could call one of your 5 other ships at any given time. Say you're on a trading platform and you see an amazing ship and you don't want to let it slip away, but again you have the wrong ship with you. Yes, how you solve that problem now is you use the exploit I explained. You just buy it and then you go trade it for the ship you actually wanted to trade it for. But then you could also be stuck with a ship of lesser value and you want to pull down your expensive ship to trade. But by the time you get back, that ship is long gone. It would be really useful to be able to call down any of your ships from the freighter. Just have them delivered the same way that your ship is delivered, because obviously my ship is right there, but if I click this, it just disappears and it reappears right in front of me. It wouldn't be hard for that to say, call down a different ship, and your original ship just vanish. And if you want to get into your imagination, you could just say that a pilot on your freighter flew it down for you and then went and got your other ship and flew it back up for you. Wouldn't be a hard mechanic to add. So these are all very simple, very easy mechanics to add to the game. Most of them already exist in some capacity to the game. They would just improve the system immensely and add another job title that you could have in this game. So I really wanted to break this down and explain it thoroughly in a way that might encourage them to look into this into the future. Hopefully the near future, because I would probably just do that. I loved salvaging ships in the early versions of the games. I did it all the time, even when I didn't need to, just to find another cool ship. So now that you can own multiple ships, it was even more fun to just, I'm going to get this ship just because it's here and it's different than what I have. So there you go. That's my third suggestion to No Man's Sky of ways they can improve the game in the future that I would really love to see them look into and tackle. And I thank you for watching. This has been Hyperion in No Man's Sky. Hopefully, I'll see you in another video. I'll have some more out soon, possibly. So keep your eyes out for that. Bye-bye!